Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. We have Liam and Ben here today. How you doing, Liam?
Good.
All right, we got a packed house today. I sent out a text earlier this week for an open house and said, hey, come in 11 to 5, 12 to 5, see what the podcast looks like, jump on, maybe play a little bit. How many people we got here today?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, including us.
I have 9 people in this house. I've never had 9 people in this house.
Dead silence.
Dead silence. Be like,
My dad's lonely.
Dad is lonely. A couple housekeeping items. Anybody listening the last couple of weeks, we started each episode in a huge mess trying to understand what our Twitter handle was and our Instagram.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. Officially, our Twitter is Chase the Whimsy.
Yes.
Our Instagram, officially, Chasing the Whimsy.
Oh, wow.
I think on Twitter someone already had chasing, or there was too many letters, so we had to go chase. You have to chase the Twitter, and then we're chasing Instagram.
Do you hear they changed it? Didn't they change the bird on Twitter to...
They retired the bird.
For what?
I don't know.
There's no reason to.
I didn't follow. I saw it. I don't pay attention to any of it. Also, the website. We have our website. Did you know we had a website?
I know we had a website.
We just got the website up and running. It is chasethewhimsy.com. On
I
there.
didn't know that. I thought it was... It's actually... That's cool.
And then
I knew we had a website, but I didn't know the... What was the website?
And some of the stuff that we have on the website.
About, usually, like, about the podcast. Episode 4 and 5 on there currently.
Yeah, so every time we update an episode, you can listen to the last 2 current episodes online.
And he's got a blog up.
I got a blog. I'm a blogger now.
Did you?
I'm a podcaster and a blogger.
Nice. Did you? I want to look at this eventually. See if you made some spelling errors.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not good on the writing. And then there's also a contact section where you guys can leave some comments, leave some notes with your email.
Your podcast sucks.
We have a link for our socials, our Instagram and Twitters. If you are on the website, you can just link it from there. And then a subscribe. Don't know exactly what that means yet. A follow.
Subscribe is YouTube.
Yeah, but this is the website, so I don't know what that means.
Subscribe to our website. That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know what that means, but I think it puts you guys into like an email. Like, so if the next open house we do, if I send an email, I think the subscribe puts you guys in like a what is that called? A email blast. So that way I can send one email and it goes out to everybody on this subscribe list. So I'm assuming.
Hopefully. Otherwise you got to type it out, copy and paste it.
Yeah, I don't like to do that. So take a look at our website. We are currently working on a YouTube channel. It's on there. Yeah. There's 2 episodes.
And Pokemon.
And some Pokemon stuff. It is technically on there. You can find us, but we're still working out the name and fixing that up. So I'm not going to advertise yet what the YouTube is. And then we have an email address. If you guys want to email us, comments, how we're doing, any suggestions, anything you guys want. If you guys want to come in for the next open house, shoot me an email. Our email is whimsy@chasingthewhimsy.com.
Oh, that's actually useful.
Yeah.
Whimsy@chasingthewhimsy.
Yeah. So, a lot better from last week when we didn't know what the heck was going on.
I don't know. So what's this episode about?
I think we go a little bit into the origin story.
What is this, episode 6, and we haven't even talked about why we're doing this?
Well, and I think one of the reasons was every podcast, episode 1, they dive hard into the origin story. Like, it's cliche. Like, we don't want that.
Well, our episode 1 was kind of perfectly timed, if you think
about it. It was perfectly timed. But I think, so we have an open house. We got Grandma coming in. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
I don't think we have any chairs for Grandma.
Oh, shit. She could use this one.
Oh, she can sit in the 3 spot. You guys can use that chair for now.
So, continuing. So this origin story.
So, kind of like on our website and our blog, we have what was it, before the chase. So I'll give some details and some behind the scenes. Oh no, get her a chair.
Yeah, get the chair. You don't gotta sit on the table. No, you can sit in the chair.
My mom's sitting in the kitchen.
Table by yourself. Hang on, you talk and I'll move the chair.
Yeah, so the origins is going to be a little bit more like where the podcast kind of started, where it came from. And we're still trying to move stuff around. No worries. Okay, so yeah, I got a kind of a fun story that goes back 10, 11 years. Liam was still at daycare. When I would pick you up, you live forever away. You live like an hour away. And I would come get you. You were still in your car seat. We just turned you forward, so whatever age that is, like 3 or 4. You were facing forward. You have your iPad. You would just watch your movie or whatever TV show. And then I would listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave. And what was interesting was I would play it a little bit low. Sometimes I'd have earbuds, but I'd play Tell 'em Steve Dave and you'd watch your movie. And then right around episode like 157, I think it was.
They had a little like special edition like intro almost, right?
Yeah, so like I just thought Liam was watching his movies, and then episode starts, and it was a special like game episode of Tell 'em Steve Dave. So there was the same like theme, the same feeling as the normal opening, but it had like a slightly different opening. And Liam all of a sudden was like, "What are you listening to?" So I'm driving, and I'm like, what do you mean what I'm listening to? I'm like, why are you paying attention to what I'm listening to? Why aren't you watching your movie? And he's like, well, what are you listening to? And I was like, Tell 'em Steve Dave. He's like, that's not Tell 'em Steve Dave. And I'm like, how did you know that's not Tell 'em Steve Dave?
Like secretly, I've just been not watching my movie this whole time.
Right? So and I'm like, what is this kid doing for like, I don't know, the last year? And he's like, it's not the same opening. And what's interesting was like, that was like the first time I realized like kids are way more observant than we give him credit for. He's paying attention to podcasts, and then I think back and I'm like, he probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast to begin with at 3 years old. He probably doesn't comprehend most of it. But what was super interesting was that music by J Sarge is the name of the guy who created that music. J Sarge, huge shout out. He does a lot of the music for the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. But I want to go ahead and give a shout out to J Sarge. Thank you for your music. It was enough. It left enough of an impression on Liam to know that I was listening to Tell 'em Steve Dave, and then also enough to realize it sounds similar, but it's not Tell 'em Steve Dave. So, J Sarge, thanks for that.
So, right about like 11 years later, right? So, during Super Bowl time, not Super Bowl time. So you were you turned 40, right? You're old.
I'm an old man.
Yes, so that's why I did the okay boomer.
I'm having my midlife crisis. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
You already had that.
I did.
So you started to be nostalgia about everything and being like, we have good conversations in the car that you wish were recorded.
I do.
So then you were we were talking about all this stuff, right? And then you ended up getting a recorder for the car, and the week it came was Super Bowl weekend.
Okay.
Super Bowl Sunday. So then at Super Bowl Sunday, we got it. We were driving around. We had Sophie. So that was kind of our first recording that we did, and it was just like we just made Super Bowl predictions and just having like these long conversations because we went to a park with sister and your daughter.
Do we still do those recordings now?
Oh yeah.
What are the rules?
What do you mean? Oh, say the date before all of them.
You gotta make sure you say the date so we can timestamp it.
Yeah.
Have we listened to any of them yet?
No, not yet.
Do we ever listen to them?
Maybe in like a couple, maybe like 5 to 10 years from now.
That's a long time. We also have the rule that we record, but we never talk to the recorder.
We talk to each other.
We talk to each other. I mean, I realized real fast, like, because like consciously I know that it's there, but the rule was we just continue our conversations and have a good time.
No matter what.
And then realize at the same time I didn't care. And I realized I swear a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
You just realized?
No, I've always realized it.
Oh,
but then like we're driving and all of a sudden I'm like, how many times did I just say the F word?
In a sentence.
In one sentence. And then I'm like, I don't know if I can ever play these back. I'm like, it's going to be bleep, bleep, bleep. Hey, Liam, bleep, bleep. So it'd be interesting. We have a lot of really fun conversations. A lot of it came back from like that nostalgia thing was you were playing games and then right around your birthday, you were like, Dad, what are the things that influence me the most? Like, what makes me who I am today at 13? I'm like, all right, that's a pretty heavy question for 13.
I remember that conversation.
I'm like, that's pretty heavy. And then we were thinking like movies, video games. Yeah. And then I was like, man, it wasn't that long ago. You were 100% live and die by Fortnite.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I wish I had recordings of the Fortnite conversations because
the funny ones are like, hey, Dad, can I have your social security number?
Right. Give me your credit card and social security. Trust me, they're not going to charge
free
you.
V-Bucks.
So yeah, we kind of, that's where the recorder kind of came from was just because like, let's like, what, like when you're 18 graduating high school or when you're, when you have kids, they can come back and listen to 20-year-old recordings of you talking about God knows what. What else did we do with, before we started recording?
Birthday, right?
Yep.
So we were like, so it was about February, right? With Super Bowl.
February, yeah.
So we were recording all the way up until my birthday, April.
Okay.
And then this was like the first time you ever just like you wanted to sit down and you wanted to talk to the recording almost.
Okay.
So we had the birthday, had a birthday party with family, and then we started recording after, the birthday party and all that. So then we recorded for about 40 minutes, right?
Right, but what were we recording?
Wasn't it like, what's your favorite thing? Like podcasting questions, right?
Basically, kind of like an interview. Like, today's your birthday. You're 13.
What's your favorite foods? What do you?
Right.
What's it like being 13?
Right. Kind of trying to like, again, going back to the Fortnite days. Mm-hmm. Like when you were 7, 8, it would have been Fortnite this, Fortnite that.
Yeah, it was more 8, 9, but sure.
But yeah, so I thought it would be kind of cool to kind of just record a couple of just generic questions, like
for you though, right? Just
yeah.
For you to listen back to, like when I'm old and don't want to talk to you anymore.
I don't know where those recordings are. I have like 2 recorders, but maybe we do that for your birthday.
Yeah, that'd be
like we listen back a year. Here's his questions, and then what's also kind of fun is we got JJ, we got the twins here. Maybe we get them on after this episode. We record with them a little bit, give them the same questions, and then on their birthday we ask and see if anything's updated. Maybe their music tastes change.
Style, I guess.
New favorite movie. Never know. But yeah, I think it was pretty cool. This idea that I captured what a 13-year-old like that day on his birthday.
And it's so funny because like right after it, we just looked at podcast stuff. I'm like, Dad, look at how cool this is.
Oh man, this fucking kid. So he's like, we record for like 40 minutes. I just asked him what his favorite movies are, what's going on, what happened in the year. We get done, and then all of a sudden he's like,
Dad,
let's do a podcast tomorrow. I'm like, what? We can't do it tomorrow.
I didn't say tomorrow.
So he goes online. He's like, look, Dad, equipment right here, $500. I'm like,
no, the one I was looking at, there was a $300 one, and then there was a $150 one because it was like some sale or whatever.
Yeah, and then he's just like, yeah, just buy it and we'll figure it out on the back end. I'm like, we can't do that. And I'm like, and then we look at it and I'm like, no. I'm like, plus whatever.
I almost convinced you though.
You did. Well, you did convince me to podcast, but I wouldn't buy the equipment. One, whatever you're showing me was just the soundboard and the mics. It wasn't the recorder.
There wasn't the recorder or the everything we use now, basically.
Right. And then we would, if I would have bought it, we would have been like, cool. We can sound cool, but we can't record any of it. So your birthday, you're like, let's podcast. I'm like, we're not buying anything. We're not paying for, like, I'm not going to pay for anything right now. What did I tell you before we would podcast? I said, we'll podcast. But what do we have to do first? What were the some of the stipulations I had before I would pay for the equipment and then actually try to get online?
Wasn't it more of just an agree to a level of commitment almost? Or most of the, like, hey, I'll get the equipment if you do this. Is that what you're saying?
A little bit more before that. What did you do with your birthday money?
Oh, didn't I buy? I don't.
Yep. Yeah. My dad, your grandpa, gave you some money for your birthday, and I was like, "Hey, if you want me to spend all this money on equipment, you got to put your birthday money, and you got to do a podcast class." Is that fair?
Yeah.
What happened with that podcast class?
Didn't I end up bailing on it like last minute because of the
He's like, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to. Well, back to what you were saying with the commitment thing was like, hey, like, you listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, you follow all of your YouTubers and your streamers, and it was like, hey, like, there's a commitment. You have to put out content weekly. And he's like, yeah, I can do it. And then as we get closer, he's like, and I'm like, Liam, you're 13? I said, I want you to be 13. I want you to be a kid. I want the podcast to be fun. It's something we can do together. But if you want to just be a kid and you don't want to have to like take notes, you want to help me create the website, the social media stuff. Like if you don't want to commit to building the podcast, we don't do it. We just, we keep recording through the car.
Didn't I bail?
You build.
And looking back at it now, it's not even that hard. It's like literally 10 minutes of notes.
I just need you to call me once a week and give me some ideas for what the episode's going to be. Take a couple of notes, a couple of bullet points, and then we're good. But yeah, you bailed. You're like, I just want to be a kid. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And then like 2 weeks later,
the next week, it was literally like, I'm ready.
And I'm like,
It was when the equipment came is when I was like, oh shoot.
Well, what was funny was like, it's everything everybody talks about a 13-year-old. And it's not even like 13-year-olds now. It's like, I'm not even, it's like every 13-year-old. I think when I was 13, I was like, let's do this. And then nope, change and do something else. And it's always like, even with like.
Is that right?
Yeah. Mom's shaking her head. The kid doesn't commit to anything other than video games. That's all he does. But yeah, it was interesting. So we did the podcast class with Ming Chen from Shared Universe. I don't even know. Have we talked about this yet?
No, this is the origin story. No, we haven't. The only thing we mentioned was because we texted Brian Johnson about.
Do you know why I'm confused?
Why?
There's a secret hidden 0 episode. Why did we do a 0 episode?
To get into the, I guess, swing of things, you could say.
A little bit, and then they kind of like
introduction almost.
And then who got the 0 episode?
The grandmas.
And?
Who else was here?
Your mom.
Oh yeah, my mom.
Yeah, so she was like, Liam's like, we're gonna be influencers. We're gonna make millions of dollars.
What?
We're gonna have a great time. I'm like, your mom doesn't like any of that idea. Plus, we don't know anything about podcasting, so we kind of agreed. Let's give your mom her own special episode so she can kind of basically like an open house, so she can see what it looks like and sounds like. She gave us a thumbs up, and now we're podcasters. Do you like being a podcaster?
Yeah, it's weird though. Sometimes it's not weird anymore. It was kind of weird, like just looking dead into your soul, talking to you.
We could put it on a business card or an application, like previous business, like podcaster.
Yeah, hey, I'm a podcast. Like, so so you're saying like when I'm going to like a job interview, hey, I'm a podcaster.
Like previous work experience, podcaster. Current. 2023 to current. And they're like, what is this? And you're like, I have good communication skills.
So I'm on podcasting. I can write down notes.
So brings me into the another conversation I wanted to have with you. What does this podcast look like to you in a year? Like, what do you hope to achieve from podcasting? Like, what are we going to get out of this whole experience?
Well, I don't know, but for me, maybe 50 episodes.
Okay, so 1 year, 50 episodes.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe a little bit of a following. Not yet, though. It's just a year.
What's our goal for number of followers on the streamers, on the Apple, Spotify, or SoundCloud? How many people we want following us
For the first year?
First year.
I guess like 500, maybe 100.
100 or 500?
Yes.
All right. I think that's doable. We can handle that. Yeah. I think we're at like 11 right now.
Nice. Nice.
And they're all in the room. We need to find more family.
We could be in El Paso right now, but we're not.
No. No, but all the people here are following because of me. How many people have you?
A couple.
A couple?
I literally
Alright.
told my family at a party, and none of them listened to it because
You start
Yeah.
grabbing phones and just sign in and get the heart. Hit the
Yep.
click, hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, the follow, whatever it is, and just give us. We need those people.
there's like 1,000 kids who go to my school.
All right. We're gonna go after the kids at school.
Okay.
I don't know how.
What do you mean?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Huh? We're gonna make business cards with our handles. All right. Aunt Nikki says business cards. But do people still use business cards?
Yeah.
It has a QR code on it.
Okay, so it's the QR code that's the big thing. All right.
Like, okay, let me ask them. We have kids who go to school.
Alright,
If you got some random business card from a kid walking in the school, would you scan the QR code?
No.
No. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, I totally would out of pure curiosity.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you throw it away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, what if we did? Okay, so that's good to know.
All right. Great.
So our demographic of the tween teen demographic, they're like, I don't want the card. Get away from me. Okay. Now, what if he had like a little wooden gnome token that had a QR code on the back of it? Would you keep the token or a keychain?
I keep the token.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. So.
I gotta make 100 more of these.
Okay.
We're just gonna give out tokens to everybody, kind of like a business card. I think
Like
that's
Chuck E. Cheese tokens, so I just get like a token and be like, hey.
no, because like I'll put I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it on our Instagrams,
Instagrams.
and then you guys can see my little token I got for Christmas from Sandy and the girls, and it's still in my pocket. I keep it in my pocket every day. He's a little pocket gnome. I don't have a name for him yet. I just call him gnomes.
Oh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Huh? It was Whimsy, but then like no one seemed to like Whimsy, so it's just gnomes right now. I don't know.
I think I might have a good name for it.
Okay.
Pix.
Ooh, I like pics.
So here's my idea,
All
right?
right.
So since you're gonna give out all these tokens, right?
Right.
There's a QR code on the back, right? And
Right.
the QR code takes you maybe to like to our website
Or Instagram.
or Instagram, right?
Okay.
And then it's like maybe an Instagram thing where it's called Pix the Gnome, right?
Right.
Since we're handing all these out, maybe you go around, like say you go to a trip to like New York for
Okay.
an example. Say you go right next to Statue of Liberty. You pull out your phone, you take your gnome, and then you tag us.
So we're gonna have a bunch of these gnomes out there, and everybody just takes pictures of Pix the gnome
Pix the Gnome.
in different locations.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
Pix the Gnome.
Do you guys Instagram?
No.
Do you Twitter?
No.
If you did Instagram or you did Twitter, would you take pictures of Pix the gnome?
Yes.
All right, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
All right, we're getting there.
Almost.
All right. What else? What else do you want to get out of this podcast, this experience?
Well,
Or what would you tell other kids? Like, why should they podcast? Like JJ, he's chomping at the bit. Look at him. He's like, I want to do this. He's like, I want to jump in.
He's been all grins this whole time.
He's like, I want to do this. We're gonna put him on the next one of the next episodes coming up. But he's like, he walked over. He's like checking the mic. He's making sure his chair is ready. He's ready to go. So, what are some of the benefits of podcasting?
I don't know. You get like, I guess I'm closer with you. I've had more conversations, like with you, like, and it's also just a lot of fun, especially since like you could go to cons and stuff like that. Like for example, Ming Chen, he goes to cons like every weekend. He gets to talk to a lot of cool people because of the podcast.
I think he said also because we're podcasters, we can go to any convention-ish con, let them know we're podcasters. We get in free with the press pass.
You can't tell our secrets to anyone else.
No, we want everybody to be podcasters.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody.
What do you want out of podcasting?
I don't know. I like the idea of just, I want to get more people on it. We had Rand in last week. We're gonna get Nikki, with Sandy, get the girls, JJ, we get mom, grandma, other grandma, and I just want to kind of just show people like podcasting one is easy, and that people are always interested in hearing just random stories, like growing up as a kid with my sister, weird things I would do with mom, and like she got mad at this or whatever, and this kind of just showing people that like we're all the same, like we can all relate to some, like one of the stories that we've done in the 6 episodes we've done, I'm sure somebody can relate to it. So part of it's just like that relating aspect, to be like, oh, this is interesting, I had fun, see if they can have fun with us and take this journey. If you growing up, you're 13, high school, so then 2 years from now, your first job, like we can episode 112, Liam's first job. How was your first day? And you're like, I hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. But I think we mentioned also, you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest
of all the kids.
Yeah.
Sisters, the girls, JJ, cousins, other side of the family. You're the oldest.
Not other side of the family.
Well, you're gonna act the oldest.
Okay.
Probably not. But what's interesting too is
you could say oldest non-adult.
There you go.
There you go.
That's a. Yeah, I wasn't suggesting that you were older than like your aunts.
No, no, I have cousins who are like 20.
This generation.
Yeah, this generation.
Okay. So I think there's a really fun opportunity too, whereas you grow up, maybe later we get into you get in trouble, whatever your grades, we talk about some of that. Now JJ is like, all right, so this is what I can expect 4 years from now. This is what 13 is going to look like. You start talking about school, you get into sports, you're dating, you're working. Now other kids start listening and be like, all right, I want to relate to it. Because like online, I don't know how many 13, like what's interesting, I don't know how many 13-year-olds right now are podcasting.
I don't really know either.
I try to do some research. Most of like the family podcasts
are just moms and dads, right?
Moms and dads
talking about kids and like what it's like to be a parent.
It's moms and dads, older, like 40 with a newborn. They're like the struggles of being older with a younger kid, or newer, maybe newer first kids, or a lot of just like, here's how I teach my kids right and wrong and whatever else, but rarely from a kid perspective. So I think there's a really cool opportunity right now to kind of get more people on here, get like the younger demographic, right? Let you guys get out there, start telling your stories about God knows what. Most of them probably won't be good, but get you out there. And then I don't think it's super interesting, but because you're 13, you might think another 13-year-old experience is fine. I don't know if you realize this too. Back to the applications, right? If you did put it on there, what do we do that you can use? Like, what kind of traits are you learning podcasting that you can apply towards like a job interview?
Communication, like
I'm good at public speaking now. I have 9 people in front of me. They all they've never seen a podcast. We're podcasting. Then we go to cons. We're going to do bigger shows and live shows and whatever. Like now you can put you communicate well. Now, I don't know. I think there's a lot of really cool things that you'll slowly learn. You're maybe less shy. You gotta get you out there handing out gnome tokens.
It's funny though, because like when I won the award for my school, I was ready to speak. I was ready to be like, yeah, I know I'm not the best. I work hard. It's not that hard, but
Who do you thank in your speech?
My mom, my stepdad, you.
Number 3, that's fine.
My grandmas, all of them, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and family.
You're up there for 13 minutes just reading off every name of every person you've ever met.
Grandma, other grandma, grandma. Yes.
That's all right. And then I also think, going back along those lines of using youth to help relate to other teens and tweens, right? I don't know what topics yet, but I think the best example would be Full House. Oh man, that's even a good example to try to hit the teens. Oh man, I don't even know. All right, parents, you remember Full House?
No, I don't.
Fun episodes, real basic, real cheesy, real safe. But every once in a while, a lot of your sitcoms back then would always have that one week, that very special episode. Drunk driver, kid gets...
That's special?
Yeah, they would always have those weird episodes where they're there's some kid died in a drunk driving accident.
I feel all the shows now just have that. Every episode, there's something going on.
Right, but we're gonna go back because we're all having fun, right? But then there's abuse and drugs and whatever else. So do we we're having fun? It's a safe space, but do we have an opportunity to help educate other kids about peer pressure, drugs, bullying, controversial, hot button right now. I talked to you a little bit about peer pressure, and you're like, I'll never do anything. I'll never drink. I'll never smoke. And I'm like, you're probably going to. And you're like, no, I never will. So do we dive deeper into that conversation where it's yes, today at 13, you're hardcore. I say no to everything. But what do you do when you're 16? And a girl's like, hey, you want to drink? If you're anything like me or my dad, you're saying yes.
Well, that's where things have changed.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know when we'll talk about those, but I think there's an opportunity though where we can maybe
eventually
dive into something a little bit more serious for a minute. Kind of some cautionary tales. If you want to hear some of my stories about whatever I did when I messed up, I think it would be a good opportunity to kind of be like, hey, I did it. I never wanted to, but I did. So, maybe we have
things happen, I guess you could say.
So I think there's I'm thinking that's what I'm hoping to get out of the podcast is conversations.
Connecting?
Yeah, I want to connect with people. I want family, friends. I want other people to kind of take something away.
Especially the family. That's one of the other reasons, going back 10 minutes ago, about why we started it, is because I wanted to know more about this family. Because like you said, I don't live near here,
right,
at all. So, I've never actually, I've heard all the stories about my mom, and stepdad. And then, you hooked me with, a couple stories, and I'm like, I want to know more.
Oh, man. I remember that story. Yeah, there's a lot of weird conversations, that we had of, oh, did you know I did this in 6th grade? Or did this in 7th grade? And you're like, what? I didn't know that. But yeah, and then we go even deeper and be like, I almost know nothing about grandma before she was a grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Other grandma. I've only known her as grandma. You've only known her as other grandma. Do you have any idea that she was a real person 40 years earlier? So
oh yeah, that she played band, right?
Yeah, she was in a band. She owned a bar. She spent a lot of time in Chicago. No idea. But yeah, I think I think you have a really good point. That we can deep dive into everybody's like, what is other grandma? What does Nikki look like when she was 13?
Like a moron.
Oh,
Yeah, and then she can tell you guys what I was like when I was 13.
punk. The punk.
I was a moron. And then, fun thing that just recently came up. So we're podcasting, we're having fun, we're inviting people into our family, right? Listeners come in, we're all right. Who did you say wanted to come on semi soon?
Oh yeah, stepdad.
Right? I've never talked to your stepdad.
Never.
I've had like 2 very nice conversations with the guy. For the most part, he's a fantastic guy. I have nothing about him, but yet, like, you're over there full time, like, I don't know. I think it would be super interesting to,
He has some fun stories too.
right? Be like, hey,
Really fun stories.
like I'm working 2 jobs. You're taking into wrestling and all this. Like, I think your brother is his first kid, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've never talked to anybody about being a dad.
What? Okay.
Oh my god, I just realized I never talked to anybody about being a dad. So like, I could sit with him, chit chat with him, and be like, here's what bothers me about Liam. He's like, I agree. And then we just sit here and just poop all over you for an hour.
All right, well, you guys can do that yourself.
But I think that's kind of a real interesting thing because I don't know. I mean, anybody who kind of like our family knows, like we kind of keep my side and your side, for the most part separate. We interact when we can.
Sometimes.
We go to some your sporting events, but this would be like the first time where like we hard sit down
Yeah.
with someone on that side.
On that side, you're
side,
talking about it like
right?
it's some.
Well, because right now, like they're like completely foreign to me. Do you think you ever get your mom on here?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. She said maybe.
Okay. Could I be there? No, just you and her talking.
Maybe. I
right.
don't know. Maybe what you two.
I don't know. I mean, we're very nice to each other. I don't know if she would have any desire to talk to me on the podcast. That'd be interesting. We get a bunch of people, get a bunch of mics, and just get everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, get your brother on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like JJ. It's just got to find something to talk about.
So yeah, I think the next year should be fun. We're still just trucking along. Every week, it looks like the experience is continuing to grow. We got websites and we got social media and stuff. There's a bunch of money involved in this stupid thing. I think we're going to come up with a contest soon. You want to talk about it now, or should we try to iron out the details?
Can iron out in a separate episode.
Okay. So we're going to try to get some episodes to help with some of the listenership. Give out some prizes and some gifts. Get you guys spreading the word of chasing the Whimsy. I don't know if I have anything else. You got anything else?
No, Whimsy.